The sanctity of marriage in Nigeria is under threat as divorce and separation rates soar to unprecedented levels. The toll is particularly heavy on women and children who are left to bear the brunt of broken homes. Habeebat Ajayi delves deeper into this growing crisis. Take a look.
For Naimot Billah, waking up each morning has become a chore as she ruminates on some of the choices she has made in her life. As a woman who has been married for 12 years, the fairy tale of living together forever was the end goal when she got hooked, but the journey has been far from rosy. Her ideal of love has been tainted by the pain and abuse she had to endure in her marriage. While still navigating the challenges of parenthood alone has been a nightmare as her husband fully neglects his responsibilities. Behind the closed doors of Nigerian homes, a silent epidemic of marital abandonment looks in the dark, tearing families apart. The survivors, often women and children, are left to pick up the pieces. They face the harsh realities of life without the support of their spouses and fathers.
Ina yin komai da komai ma iyalina, amma wannan auren ba komai bane ba illa wahala. Kullum yana dukana, ban sani ba ko kuma wani abu ne yake damun shi ko kuma saboda bayi da sana'a ne. Na koma gurin iyayena domin a samu a taimaka mishi ya fara sana'a, amma duk da haka abubuwa ba su canja ba, kamar ma ƙara gurɓancewa suka yi. Idan ina da ciki sai ya yi ta dukana. Cikina har guda 3 suka zube saboda dukan da yake mun. Yanzu 'ya'yana guda 2 da shi. Ina yawan rashin lafiya, na je na asibiti, likita ya ce ina da cutar ƙoda. Na yi kuka, na dawo na gaya ma mijina, amma iyakacin abin da ya ce min shine Allah ya bani lafiya. Ya tafi ya bar ni da kuɗin asibiti da waɗansu buƙatun asibiti. Na tafi gurin iyayena don na gaya musu halin da ake ciki.
The phone and end the call. Suddenly, he came up with 12 rules, which is, I should stop calling my relatives, my friends. I should quit How can I quit my job? He met me with the job, claiming men might flirt with me. For heaven's sake, I'm a married woman. How will I allow that? Finally, I got pregnant. Then he stopped sleeping at home as frequently. If I dare to ask, it beats me up. At some point, he stopped coming home. I complained to his family. He claimed I was not an obedient wife, despite all I passed through. I gave birth to my bouncing baby boy. My neighbor was there to help, but my husband was nowhere to be found. Until the naming ceremony day that he showed up his face. After that day, the whereabouts of my husband became unknown. After 5 years, I learned that my husband remarried. The children, he left us. He doesn't reach out to us.
According to the Violence Against Persons and Prohibition Act, Section 19, Subsection 1, spousal battery. And Section 16, Subsection 1, abandonment of spouse, children, and other dependents without sustenance. There is a significant gap in data collection on divorce rates in Nigeria. The only available data dates back to the 2006 National Population Census, which reported that 704,000 Nigerians were divorced, comprising 230,000 males and 447,000 females. According to the UN reports, 48% of Nigerian women experienced violence since COVID-19 pandemic. Findings by Trust Television revealed that there are no publicly available statistics on the rates of divorce in Nigeria. However, a family lawyer says the true rate of divorce is difficult to ascertain, as not all marriages and dissolutions are conducted in court, complicating the collection of accurate data.
But assuming it used to be in the hundreds, it's actually in the thousands now. Oh yes, not in many more hundreds, it's actually in the thousands now. And it's happening on a daily across the courts in Nigeria, depending on the kind of marriage Bearing in mind too that not all dissolutions go through the courts. There are dissolutions that are private, particularly where those marriages are, customary marriages.
They get to a point, and this was, unwilling. They don't even want to see eye to eye. They don't want to look at this thing and see the possibilities. All they see is they've just gone to a place where all they see is no, it can't work. Parents don't send their children to school so that their children will in turn take care of them. Parents send their children to school because it is their duty. That is what fathers do. So coming out from all of that, I come in to say, in marriage, there are duties. We don't do them because of this, because of that. It is what a husband should do or does. It is what a wife should do or does. So a lot of times when we neglect our duty and fail to carry out our responsibility, irrespective of the reason, people should actually prepare themselves for ahead of time. Otherwise, by the time they get in there, they become weak marriage-wise, because they are not loaded with information, they are not loaded with knowledge, they are not loaded with ability to take themselves through the marriage.
From a legal standpoint, Barrister Chioma Oyenuche-Yauko highlights the complexities surrounding marital abandonment in Nigeria.
A lot of people tolerated unpleasant marriage situations because of stigmatization, or because they didn't have the means to seek the solution they knew they needed. And then more men are also beginning to realize that there's no shame in admitting that they are suffering victimization in their marriage.
Nigeria is said to have adequate laws aimed at protecting women and sanctioning perpetrators. However, there is a critical need for proper implementation to secure the lives and guarantee the safety of women in the country. Experts say enhanced enforcement of these laws, combined with increased resources for legal aid and support services, will help address the issue of abandonment and ensure that women receive the protection and justice they deserved.